Good morning. Today we make a really special beer because today we make LAMBIC beer that is from Belgium, only from one area, from this area. I write here the name because I don't know the pronunciation. Why is so different? Because it's a acid beer and also the problem that you can do only in that area. So today we will do our version, but don't worry. It's like when we have done the homemade whiskey. It's very difficult to do the real whiskey at home, so we do our version and also with this recipe. So starting already yesterday night, I take 900 grams of Pilsner malt and plus 600 grams of wheat malt. I put in my fermenter and I pour the water that was at 75 Celsius degrees, 6 liters of water. And now we can collect the first part of our wort. Now I will open the top, and when everything will be clean, we collect the first part. After, I will add 3 liters of water at 95 Celsius degrees, because we want more tannin and more protein from our grain. And after we will go ahead with the recipe, because be focused, because it's very different from the usual beer. Usually we make the steps, now we do the opposite, and also we will use different ingredients, but you will see it. Now let's speak about the hops, because the hops is very strange also for this recipe. Usually we want a good hops, keep very well. For this recipe is the opposite. We should use old hops because we don't want to add the bitterness to our beer and also the fruit taste that you have in some beer. But the old hops keep the faculty or the power to preserve your beer. This is why they use the hops. I will use 13 grams of hops, and this hop is the one that I collect. I harvest, is the wild hops that I collect this summer. I vacuum these hops. One of the box was not vacuum well, so get in contact with the air. So instead of throw away, it's perfect for this recipe. Now I finished to collect all my wort. I will put on the fire. When start boiling, I will add the hops. And we need to open our beer for 1 hour. See you later. When our wort is cold, we put in a fermenter. But some people will say, why you are doing this kind of work outside is very dangerous because the yeast, the wild yeast that is in the air, can go inside your wort and start the fermentation. But this is my goal, because the lambic style beer is made with spontaneous fermentation. I hope that the pronunciation is correct. So they take the wort, they put in a big container. It usually is under the roof of the house of the brewery, and after maybe one night the fermentation starts. So this is my goal now. I am outside, here there is the wind. Now it's a little bit dangerous because the sun is still up, so it's better to cover, because if not there is flies that is going around. When the sun will go down, there will be no flies, plus the humidity will fall on the ground. So we can remove the towel and leave under the sky, the stars, for 2 hours. But after it will be too cold outside because it's winter in Italy, also if we are in the south of Italy. So tonight I will move inside the house, and in the house we will have 19, 20, 21 Celsius degree, more or less. So probably tomorrow morning, if everything works, we will see a little bit of foam on the top of our wort. So this means that the fermentation starts. Also, I take a new bag, a new fermenter. This one I have now, the tap is very new, because if you use another fermenter that you already use to make wine or beer, maybe some yeast inside can start the fermentation, because also if you clean very well there will be always some yeast alive in your fermenter. We start the fermentation. My goal is to start the fermentation with wild yeast, the yeast that is in the air. So see you tomorrow morning to check if the fermentation starts or not. After 48 hours at 20 Celsius degree, the spontaneous fermentation starts. You can notice from the foam on the top. After 4 days, I put my beer in this fermenter, because I have the tap and also the lid with the airlock. The tap will be very useful after when we will change again from this fermenter to the other, because all the dead yeast and the particle will stay on the bottom of this fermenter. Plus, my idea was to put the lid with the airlock, because many flies that they are around, they always want to enter in my fermenter, so my beer is not the best thing. So now the fermentation is running with the wild yeast, so no problem. We can close it with the airlock. And now we should wait at least 3-4 days, and after we will put everything in the second fermenter. So I'll see you in a few days. After 2 weeks, we should remove our beer from this fermenter and put in another fermenter. Inside this fermenter I put some pieces of wood. It's not wood that you find around, is oak wood that I already use and prepare, because you need to treat the wood in advance, and I show it how to treat it in this video, in the homemade whiskey. So I don't show you now again, if not the video will be too long. Why we are putting the wood inside the fermenter? Because the lambic beer is stored in oak barrels from 2 to 3 years. But we cannot do this at home, because we have no space and no time, so we do the opposite. Instead of put the beer in the oak barrels, we put the barrels inside the beer. In this way we can take all the aroma and the substance from the wood. So now we remove the lid. I will put the beer inside this fermenter. I will close again with the lid. Don't worry if the beer get oxygenated, it's normal, because remember that this fermentation is spontaneous, so we don't care if other kind of yeast enter in contact with our beer. See you in 1 week. After 1 week with the wood, now because the lambic beer usually they add some fruit, usually is raspberries and cherries, but because now it's not the season, and also we are not in Belgium, so you cannot find the same berries that they have it. I will use different one. The cherries, I will use the cherries in the syrup. So for 2 liters of beer, I will use 100 grams of cherries from the syrup. Only the cherries, the syrup, I remove it. And the other 2 liters, I will use 300 grams of berries, because the raspberries, I cannot find only the raspberries alone. But the best things of the homemade beer, that you can change the recipe up to your taste and up to the ingredient that you find it. In fact, usually this beer is flat, but because I like sparkling beer, now I will take 1 bottle of beer and I will add the sugar, because I want to taste the beer without the fruit and with the fruit. But also I like sparkling beer, like you know already if you follow the channel. Another thing, if you like this kind of beer, it's good if you store the wood. So now I will remove the wood, I will put in a glass jar like this, I will close with the lid, and I will store in the fridge. Because if I like this beer, next time that I want to make again, I can, when the wort is ready at room temperature, instead of waiting that the yeast that is in the air enter in the fermenter, I can put a piece of wood inside, and the yeast that is already in the wood will start the fermentation. Very easy. Okay, now I put everything. Maybe in a few days I will show you the fermentation that start. Remember that the fermentation will stop, is ended, when the airlock is again at level, more or less in 1 week. So see you in 1 week. After 24 hours, you can see from the airlock that the fermentation is going on, and from the color that the berries are more powerful. We can say that the cherries, probably because the cherries are cured in the syrup. So let's see what's happened in 1 week. After 9 days, we add the fruit in the fermenters. The fermenter with the berries, you can see that the airlock is at level, so the fermentation, we can say, is done. We will keep the fruit inside. But the fermenter with the cherries is still fermenting. You can see it from the airlock, so we need more days. After 2 weeks, you can notice the airlock is in the opposite direction. Why? Because the fermenter before was inside at home. The temperature was more or less 20 Celsius degree. Now outside is very cold because it's winter and there is this strong wind. So I hope that the sound is good. You can see the airlock was going in the wrong direction. I want to show you this because this is the reason why I put the liquor inside the airlock, because like now some drops fall inside the fermenter. So if you use we can say some chemical product to prevent the infection inside your fermenter, after you will drink it. But like now that I use a liquor, the liquor that go inside our beer will only increase the alcohol content. Now I will bottle my beer, the one with the berries. I will add a little bit of sugar inside the bottle. The bottle is half liter, so I will use 5 grams of sugar. The other one with the cherries, I will use the syrup that was with the cherries when I bought them, 1 teaspoon. And after we should wait at least 2 weeks. Naturally, I will use this filter to avoid that the fruit go inside the bottle. Okay, after that you put the beer in the bottle, you should wait at least 2 weeks for the fermentation in the bottles. I go inside to finish my process because he is very, very cold. I'm freezing. Okay guys, see you in 2 weeks. Let's start with a classic lambic without fruit inside. Yeah, I like it. Very, very good. Okay, you will understand later why my arm is not going like this. Between one beer and another, I eat the biltong, so to clean my mouth. Let's try the one with the cherries. This is spectacular. This is why now my arm is going, because I already tasted before for the Italian channel. Biltong. And now let's try the one with the berries. The color is spectacular. Also this one is very, very good. But I can say that the best one is with the cherries. So the first one, the best one is the cherries, after the one without fruits, and at the end, the one with the berries. Sorry, I cannot tell you the alcohol content of this beer, because when I made the measurement after I lost probably the video, also I write something, but the numbers are wrong, so sorry. If you try to make it, let us know down in the comment the alcohol content of this beer. Okay guys, see you in the next video. If you have some question, anything, write down in the comments. Bye bye.